Hey y'all, I'm Ashlyn,
I'm Emily.
And I'm Marla.
and we want you to mansplain hockey elsewhere.
Yay! So Stanley Cup playoffs are in full effect. We're in the second rounds now. First round for the West, Vegas beat the Wild 4-3, and then the Avalanche absolutely murdered the Golden Knights Saturday.
Just one game.
7-1. So Colorado's up 1-0. It's a great game.
Whatever.
Anyway, we're starting off strong. It is just one game. So I saw something that I missed when it happened, and because I didn't even realize they were playing, and then I turned the game on. But the Avalanche got 9 minutes of a power play.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, but what the fuck?
That's
Yeah,
insanity.
crazy.
Like, literally we're not good at math, but like a sixth of the game at least is a power play.
Nashville still wouldn't have scored even with 9 minutes of power play. We still wouldn't have gotten one.
Like,
Maybe they did.
I think they scored one during that, but so they play again tomorrow. We're recording on Tuesday, so they'll play Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So they might just have to play Monday or Wednesday. Yeah, they have to get 4 games. Never mind. I'm not a math pot. Anyway, whatever. Marla, tell us about the North and the East.
Well, the North ended kind of predictably. Since we last recorded, Montreal and Toronto have played 3 games, and I will let you take a second to guess who won. It wasn't the Leafs. Sorry to those fans. Hey, I'm right there with you. But yeah, Thursday the 27th, Montreal won 4-3, and everything was fairly even. The shots, the face off, the hits, all that. Nobody won a power play goal in that game. Saturday the 29th, Montreal did get 2 out of 4 power play goals, and they won that game 3-2. Carey Price is kind of lights out, and this he beat the Penguins last year, so he's obviously the best. Duh. And then just last night, they finished the series. They won 3-1, and the Leafs fans are in full meltdown mode, and have all turned to baseball in their solace. So that's how they're doing. Sorry to our friends from the North. As far as the East,
at least your baseball team can carry you right now.
Yes, and
hopefully
they're doing a pretty good job doing that, but we'll get to that in the next pod. And of course, if you're listening to this, you probably already know that the Penguins are out. Lost 3-5 to the Islanders on Wednesday in Game 6. It was ugly. There was just no helping the goalie, apparently. And a few of our guys tried. There was one play in particular I can think of. Malkin dove and swiped at the puck with his stick and got it back down the ice. But I'm like, he's netminding for the netminder. You can't. It's not. So it was not pretty. Pens had 37 shots on goal in that game. The Islanders had 24, and we only got 3 goals and they had 5. So that tells you how efficient they were and how good Sorokin was. I've heard some people say oh, he's not really going to be anything, which, he might not be, but maybe it's recency bias, or maybe I'm just making an excuse for why my team did so poorly, but I think he's really good. Other than that, New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins are trying to kill each other. They're doing a pretty good job. That series is tied 1-1 so far. Boston took the first game 5-2, and the Islanders won last night 4-3. So
that's what a series where I don't want anyone to win.
Yeah, it's good hockey, and everybody's saying oh, this is great games, and I'm sure they are, but it's still just a little bit too raw for me. By the next round, I will watch the Eastern Division again, but I just can't right now. So we will see. And I will, of course, be rooting against either the Islanders or, let's be real, it's going to be Boston. So that's how that's been going. Kind of a bloodbath.
Yeah. Well, this was a dick move of me to make Ashlyn recap this.
It's quite all right because, okay, I'll do the Battle of Florida first. Okay. The Lightning won that series with the Panthers. They took them to 6 games. The Lightning, as we know, are the defending Stanley Cup champs. The Panthers were kind of like, I don't know, for me, they came out of nowhere this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't expect them to be
surprised.
Right. Like, I expected them to be, like, decent, but I didn't expect them to be, like trouble for us every single time. Like, that was not unexpected. And I thought it was cool that the playoff matchup ended up being both Florida teams. That was interesting. That being said, the Lightning did what they should have done, and they won and moved on. I did expect that game to go like 6 or 7, or that series to go 6 or 7, and it did. The Lightning took, or no, did it only? Yeah, it went 6. So go Tampa Bay, whatever. Ew, gross. Anyways, then Nashville and the Canes faced off. The Canes took it in 6 games. To be quite honest, they should have done it faster.
Yes.
Because the Preds shouldn't have really been in the playoffs, really. And the Canes are like deep playoff run favorites, if not Stanley Cup Finals favorites. So I'm shocked that it took 6. But the fun fact about this series, or our series, was the home team won every game.
Mm-hmm.
So
which
that
is proven.
I know Carolina wasn't to full capacity quite, and I know Nashville wasn't to full capacity quite, but there was a lot of fucking people there. Like, ours, I think, was just under 13,000 is what they were letting in. And it was all
catfishing.
Yeah, so I think that the home ice advantage was definitely a thing for this series. And with Carolina being the higher seed, that worked out well for them. There's a lot of overtimes, like a lot of fucking overtimes. So many overtimes in this series. Yeah. But I was proud of what we did.
Game 6 went to overtime. And we're like,
yeah, that's what, and it started at fucking midnight, but that's a different story. Or it felt like midnight anyways, because I don't, stupid. It was 9:30. I was bitching about 8:30, and then I was like, oh wait, all these people that like actually live in Canes country.
It was 9:30.
It's even worse. Stupid. Schedulers, you're stupid. Anyways, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I wish we would have won and went on, but we shouldn't have. So I guess whatever, the best team won.
I mean, anyways, it was really close. So like between games 5 and 6, we had 68 shots on goal. Y'all had 52. We had 52% face off. Y'all had 48. We scored on 2 of 6 power plays. Y'all scored on 1 of 7. Where we kind of did crush you is we had 98 hits and y'all only had 68. But otherwise, like, all those lines are really close. Like, uncomfortably close. And then we lost to Lightning 2-1 on Sunday night. So they're playing, like, actually in, like, 3 minutes in Tampa. But, like, no, we're still home tonight. And then we go to Tampa for games 3 and 4. So hopefully we can at least get the win tonight at home. Because if we go into Tampa down 2, I don't like that. And
yeah, that would suck.
But one of our good, I don't know hockey well, I don't know, whatevs. But one of our guys who seems to score a lot, Nino Niederreiter, is doubtful for the rest of the second round, and they just said upper body issues. They won't say what it is.
I don't like hockey injuries. They're so frustrating.
They're the complete opposite of baseball, because baseball will be like, it's the 3rd digit on the 4th finger, and the hockey is just like lower body. in that general
Yeah,
vicinity.
just down there
All of
somewhere
it.
hurts.
I
Just
don't
offer.
want to like give someone a reason, like a target maybe, and like he was in a couple of different like scrums in the last game, so I don't know. But anyway, it just kind of sucks because like one of our guys was out for some of the Preds games, and I'm like, if you want everyone healthy in the playoffs, like, come on,
Right.
bro. But next man up, whatever. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern, which is in 2 minutes, we're playing on NBC Sports, Tampa. So our Thursday game's at 8 p.m., but then our Saturday game's at 4 p.m. Why don't you make the 8 p.m. game on the weekend?
Makes
Schedulers.
too much sense.
But anyway,
He consulted us. It's very
we're
rude.
we're all Canes fans now. So, Marla, since you won't be watching the Eastern Conference, what's the game you look forward to most?
I want to see the Knights come back. So that's pretty much a whole series I'm excited about. I think they can. I mean, the Avalanche, they're so good. Like, it's ridiculous. They're like unstoppable. But hey, that first game, they didn't even have Fleury, and they had some other kid. I don't fucking know who it is, but I think his name started with like an L, which was appropriate because he got a big one. But I think Fleury could help them. I'm sure. So, and I'll never not root for him. So I will root for them until if and when they get eliminated. And after that, I'll root for the Canes.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Ashlyn, what are you looking forward to, other than the Canes winning, obviously?
Yeah, that's number one on my list. Anyways, I am looking forward to the Islanders and the Brewers. I watched some of the Islanders games this weekend. I watched very little hockey this weekend because, kind of like Marla said, I was just like, I'm over. I don't want to watch this stupid sport anymore. My team sucks. I'm over it. Give me a minute. But I did watch some of the Islanders games, and they were good. So I guess I'm gonna. And plus, I mean, let's be real. I forever want Boston to lose everything forever and ever. Amen. So
Especially after that guy this week.
go
but
Islanders
on the other
or
pod.
whatever they say. Yeah.
It's also really, from an objective standpoint, as much as it hurts me to say this, watching the fans in New York is amazing because they are loud and energetic. They are absolutely the extra guy on the ice. Like, it's insane how into it these fans are. And I
Right.
know I'm sure fans all over the country have been like that, but as far as the series that I've been watching, I mean, they had the Pittsburgh fans beat
Also with
so much.
fans, like, I don't know how other states are, but like we never completely shut down because of COVID. Like, there were restrictions on things we could do, but we never completely shut down. And like, I've been going to spring sports since February. I went to baseball. Granted, it was extremely limited capacity, but it's like New York, like, just opened back up.
Right.
So these are people who like rabid fans who haven't gotten a fix.
Yeah,
Like,
we're starving for stuff to do up here in the north, so
Yeah.
and you can tell, like, they were impressive, so got to give them that at least. But it'll be interesting to see what happens now that the off season has officially started for the Pens. A lot of people are calling for Jari's head. I don't see Mike Sullivan making that decision, but it could also come down to, is he the one that's on the chopping block? So I don't know. We'll see. We definitely need to be nice to Jeff Carter in the offseason, make sure he signs for longer. Our core's not going anywhere. People are saying like, oh, Malkin and Letang are going to be going to the Panthers or whatever. They're not going anywhere. So just
did they ever
Blue
get
Jets.
Kraken though?
I think they're going to be protected. And I'm going to be talking about the expansion draft and stuff in the next segment. But yeah, I think they're definitely going to be protected. I don't know if I can say the same for like all of the guys that I love, but we'll see. I mean,
I don't know how that works. I know they do have the expansion draft, but can they also like trade? I would assume they'd be able to trade for people, maybe. Or can they only draft? Okay. Because that would suck if all you got was whatever was in the draft.
And they signed somebody a couple weeks ago he's technically the first Kraken player, so
that's cool.
They can never take that away from him.
That's right. He made history.
So, that's tomorrow?
Well, the expansion draft, listen, all right. Last time, I was like, oh, it's June, 2nd or 3rd or something. And I wasn't thinking. I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense because season's still going on. They're not going to say, hey, you guys are actually now a member of this team, but finish up what you're doing over here. So the expansion draft is set for July 21st, which is the day after my birthday. So if anyone's taking notice of that. And that is, there's different rules. They're going to be using the same rules as they did for the Knights, which was a few years ago, but to refresh. So the Kraken have to select one player from each existing club, except the Knights. I guess they get like immunity since they're still new. They need 14 forwards, 9 defensemen, and 3 goaltenders. And like I said last show before, I hope Smith is one of them. Goodbye. And then to protect their players, the clubs.
Wait, okay, there you go. That's what I was going to ask. Like, you can't just be like Red Rover, Crosby,
no, you're not getting it. No, so the clubs can protect their players. They have 2 options. You have to do it as like a package, I guess, for lack of a better term. You can do 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender, which I think is what we did last time, if I remember correctly. Or you can do 8 skaters total and a goaltender. So if you say, well, I actually don't want to protect any of my defensemen. They all suck. I don't care about them. Just do 8 forwards and a goaltender. Or,
what if
imagine
the team that did that was like, fuck all y'all all suck. I don't give a shit who leaves.
Oh, on the block.
Really want you to love us and come back and do your best next year, even though we were hanging you out to dry.
Right? Like, even though we're like kick fucking rocks, if you don't get picked up, please come back and do great and love us. Thank you.
So
I guess. Yeah.
So do the Kraken have to buy off their salaries, or how does that? Does the NHL buy it off?
That I'm not sure. I would imagine that they would have to pay the rest of the contract or whatever, like a trade, essentially, I think. If I'm incorrect, please tell me, because I often am. But I wanted to go through some history of the expansion draft in the past. And there's a whole long article about that lists like the crazier aspects of different expansions. So I just want to highlight a couple. So in 1967, it was not the first expansion draft, but it was the largest of the time. It doubled the league from 6 to 12 teams. The teams were allowed to protect 11 skaters and 1 goalie, which is actually more generous to the new teams than it is now. So that's, it was a lot harder to keep your good guys back then, essentially. And the original 6 teams lost 20 players. So,
butting in, like I tend to do, the NHL draft lottery is tomorrow, June 2nd. So we weren't completely off about something happening on June 2nd.
Yeah, that's and you remember last season, like everybody was all up in arms of the lottery and they shouldn't, like, it doesn't matter. So, but
you all suck anyway.
And then in 1970, we added the Sabres and Canucks. Only 2 players went on to score more than 200 points in that draft. And they used a wheel, like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, or like if you ever, I don't know how far Shoe Carnival is around the country, but there's a little wheel that you spin and you pick a discount off of it.
Yep.
So love that thing.
This article says there were 2 teams and you have to pick who goes first. And any logical person would say, well, flip a coin. That's no fun. So they used a wheel that determined who would go first. It was a roulette style wheel. The commissioner spun it and declared that I'll just read this article. So they used the first overall pick on a kid named Gilbert Terrell, and he went on to play 17 seasons in Buffalo for the Sabres. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame and everything. He's pretty good. The same year, he was the first Sabre to have his number retired. So they made off like bandits in this, but he announced it incorrectly. So he declared that it was the Canucks that it had landed on. It's like Steve Harvey and that Miss America or whatever that it was like. He declared, and he had to go back and he was like, no, I actually misread it. He gave the pick to the wrong team. So that was 1970, the whole cluster. 1972, we added the Islanders and the Flames. Each team could protect 15 skaters and 2 goalies, and each team only lost 3 players. So looking a little bit more like what we get now. 74, the Capitals and the Kansas City Scouts, which are not a thing anymore. So that tells you how that went. But the reason that team sucked was because during this time the WHA, the World Hockey Association, was in like full swing, and they were like sniping they were stealing the talent from the NHL to go play in Canada.
Now the Devils, so they do actually suck. They went to Denver in 76, and then in 82 went to New Jersey.
Well, there you go.
Nobody wants to go to New Jersey,
but they're also still horrible as the Devils.
Yeah, so all the best talent in the world essentially was either playing for the WHA or was protected. So everybody that got drafted sucked essentially in that one. That was kind of a bit of a bust. Excuse me. 79 was not technically an expansion draft, but the WHA folded that year. So the Oilers, the Jets, the Whalers, and the Nordics, which I believe were Quebec, were added. And apparently that one was really wild because some of the players that had been in the NHL had gone to the WHA, and then when their team got absorbed by the NHL, then their old teams tried to say, hey, you're still technically under contract for us. So it was like that like they had to work out as a whole.
I thought you were gonna be like, when they came back, their old team was like, fuck you, you left us, but which would have also been funny.
No, they tried to get him back. So I guess that was a whole debacle. Or no, 79, sorry. And then 91, the Sharks. Yeah, it was basically the 70s were a fucking shit show. But we already knew that.
All across the board, really. Not just hockey.
I was like, isn't that the decade they drafted a fake player too? I feel like that was.
I think it was the 70s. Banana. I don't remember. That was like 3 episodes ago. So come on.
And then 91, the Sharks were added, and then the North Stars were also the Minnesota North Stars were also allowed to take
fake player.
What the hell was going on in 74? The 70s wasn't even cocaine yet. That was the 80s. But anyway, so the North Stars, the owners, I guess, were jumping ship and were taking to San Jose to form the Sharks, but they were allowed to like take some of their players and stuff. So the Sharks were the new team that were in the expansion draft, and the North Stars had literally just been in the final like a few days before that, but they were also allowed in the expansion draft. So 91 was also a mess. And essentially I'm praying for something normal to happen this year and to not have any shenanigans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like crazy ass shit always happens, so buckle up.
Also, crazy shit, as long as it doesn't affect our teams, would be fun to watch.
It would be interesting. Part of me, though, is just kind of exhausted with crazy things. So it's just like...
It's true.
I understand that. Yeah. Part of me is too, and part of me is like, why stop now?
Let's keep going. Thrive on chaos.
There we go.
Yeah. So the history of the expansion draft's pretty wild. Look it up for more details if you want, because it seems pretty funny.
So we didn't have an expansion draft from 91 until the Knights?
I think there might have been more in between there, but those were the ones that stood out to me of what the hell was happening.
Like low lights. Pick your direction. I don't.
Exactly.
Speaking of low lights, are we on Apple Podcast yet?
No. And to be quite honest, guys, I believe I've given up until the off season because I can't figure it out. And I believe that's going to be an off season project because.
Well, you know what that means? They need to watch us on YouTube.
Exactly. This will be up on YouTube tomorrow. Marla does a wonderful job of getting it up super quick. We look super cute in our little frames.
And I'm
if you love the coloring,
like,
come watch us.
Vibe going
on.
See?
Love that. Because all I can say is Tim Cook and Apple Podcast 100% hate us. I think there's like some sort of a conspiracy against us. I'm not sure what we did, but we do nothing but support them. But we are screwed for some reason. And
with my iPhone as a timer, with my MacBook running, I just want to know that I'm done with him.
Yes, I am determined to fix it, but I need brain break to figure it out. Also, lots of help, which I'm gonna get in the off season. It's gonna happen. In the meantime, like I said, you can watch it on YouTube. It'll be there tomorrow. We're getting these out as quickly as possible, given that it's the playoffs and information changes quickly. You can find us on Twitter at MHEPodTrio and on Instagram at Mansplain Hockey Pod. And then obviously all of our individual Twitters and Instagrams are Braves Ashlyn, Emily, and Marla, which you probably already know by now.
Yes. And on that note, we will see you sometime next week.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye.